All right. Well, good morning to all of you guys. This is Craig Blanchette, the lifestyle coach, and this is our Crave Optimal Health weekly podcast. And we do this every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific or noon Eastern. I'm actually coming to you live from a health coach training event that we do. We do about three of these every year. And so we're in Atlanta today. So I have a bunch of health coaches and world changers that have showed up. But I wanted to introduce the podcast today and this episode where we're going to be going through chapter 7 of the Habits of Health. And so it's my pleasure, obviously, here to introduce Debbie Lunst, and she's going to be taking us through chapter 7 of Dr. A's Habits of Health. So take it away, Debbie.
Thanks, Craig. Well, good morning, everyone. I think I'll just jump right into it. Chapter 6 kind of went through some of, got my little flashcards here, that about Dr. Anderson's system to healthy living and healthy eating. And chapter 7 goes into more detail on the actual program, the weight loss component of Dr. Anderson's healthy habits. And it's called Catalyst to Reaching a Healthy Weight. And in this chapter, it covers the system to achieve the goal of getting to a healthy weight safely. And what it is the 5-in-1 plan. And in his talking, he believes that we want to manage our insulin and manage our energy in and energy out. And by achieving that, we stabilize our insulin pump by eating every 2 to 3 hours. And that can be a pretty difficult thing to do. And in chapter 7, it goes into how he has this incredible tool that helps you make it more convenient to do that, because most of us in our busy schedules don't have the time to prepare 5 to 6 meals a day. And so he goes through and talks about the medical certified portion controlled fuelings that he has partnered with Medifast and soon to be Optavia to help us make it more convenient. On page 74, on the sidebar, it talks a little bit about the convenience of using the fuelings to help you get to achieve the eating every 2 to 3 hours. And let's see, go to my flashcards here. The fuelings are quality protein, complex carbohydrate, balanced with 24 vitamins and minerals to protect your body and help you feel full and satisfied. All the fuelings have the same footprint. They all have the carb protein balance and also the minerals and vitamins and minerals. These are low glycemic fuelings that you can use I'm starting to lose it a little bit. Basically, what we want to do is have 5 fuelings a day and 1 lean and green. And the fuelings, chapter 7 goes into more detail on the fuelings, and then also talks about the lean and green. With the fuelings, like I said, when you do the every 2 to 3 hours, you get a steady dose of low glycemic meals, fuelings that help stabilize your blood sugar and keep your insulin levels in control. And by doing that, it helps you with your cravings and helps you make more mindful and controlled decisions, healthy decisions. On page 76, it goes through a chart that we've seen before in previous chapters on how eating every 2 to 3 hours can help stabilize our insulin level. And and let's see, also the energy intake. One of the things that I really liked about the program, about this chapter, was the idea of the ability to control my cravings and make better mindful decisions on my choices. It's interesting how eating this way can actually, even though your energy intake is lower, you get yourself into what is a core principle, which is fat burning, that it allows your body to go to your fat storage to make up for the calories that you're not doing. And it actually is better for your body, as far as when you're losing weight, you're not actually going to your muscle to get energy. And you can almost start losing weight almost immediately once you get yourself into fat burn. The next thing in the chapter is starting to go into more lean and green. The fifth meal, the way it's up to you on how you want to do it. But Dr. Anderson's example has you having your lean and green at dinner. That works for me because I have a son, and it's always nice at the end of the day to sit down with him and have it, but you can have it at any time. And he actually goes through, he has the leanest, goes through your protein for your lean, and
Debbie, it looks like we lost your audio.
hang on. It's down here.
And then actually, while we're getting Debbie squared away, Barb, did you have a question or a comment?
Well, I just wanted to maybe dovetail off of Debbie, backing up to earlier in the chapter. One of the things that is really great about what we're doing here, going through these chapters again, is that it's a refresher. And I've dropped off using things like living the habits of disease. And I mean, we talk so much about habits of health, but I thought it was really great that Dr. Anderson himself lived habits of disease. And that was a real powerful thing for me, an incentive and motivator for me to really embrace what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Looks like Debbie's not back.
No, looks like she... She's not muted. Muted. Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Linda.
There we go.
I was muted too. Oh, good, Debbie. Perfect.
Am I back?
I just started blabbering, but nobody could hear me anyway. So we'll just toss it right back to you.
And thank you.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to touch anything.
We conquered. Keep going, girl. You're rocking it. Is she muted again?
Yeah, she muted again.
Shoot. This is what happens. Sorry, podcast listeners. This is what happens when Craig leaves the building. We have technical difficulties.
But actually, Linda, I'll just toss it to you. Do you have anything to add for chapter 7? There's so much to unpack, or so much that is included in this chapter as far as setting someone up.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Success.
Well, it just reminds me of how important it is that nutrition and how our bodies scientifically function actually has a huge impact on the decisions that I make. Because so often I think, and I don't know if anybody else, I can't see other people right now, but raise your hand if anybody else kind of boiled down their habits to just, I'm not disciplined enough. Anyone else? I can't tell. But and there's a part of that. There's a development, and there's adding structure, because when you have structure, your behavior follows. But how much more important nutrition really is to making an impact is what I got from Debbie's talk on chapter 7 of how mindful can I be, or how present can I be in making a wise decision. A lot of it boils down to what is going on chemically in my body. And maybe that's not even the right word, chemically, but I think you guys are picking up what I'm saying, and that balanced blood sugars equals more control. Not balanced blood sugars equals a frenzied Linda. And it's not always something to feel guilty about, which I think I used to feel guilty. If I go in a grocery store and I'm hungry and I just want to eat everything in sight, and I probably could. But once you start to take care of your nutrition, how much that really does impact. Any other thoughts? I saw Betsy nodding. Other thoughts to people where this kind of information kind of really help educate how you live your life?
Well, for me, I think, again, living the habits of disease, and how often did I avoid even the healthy fats? Not so knowing and understanding that those are really powerful components to a balanced diet and being really healthy. So, this whole chapter that breaks down how our body uses the fuel that we give it, and if we're not giving it the proper fueling, we're not going to be living optimally. So for me, it just really has come down to the habits of health. The foundation really is, first of all, being physically healthy and feeding our bodies what it needs.
Mm-hmm.
Am I back on?
Yeah.
Am I back on?
Yes.
I am. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you for. I'm so sorry. I've been having this problem. I meant to mention it in the beginning in case my audio goes out, and I'm hoping that it doesn't. But
It's okay.
all the what you guys are saying is exactly, Linda, that just hit the nail right on the head, because I have a lot of friends that don't eat healthy and don't regulate their blood sugar, and they're very erratic in their moods and in their decision making. And what I like about this chapter is that it's a good refresher to always remember why we're doing this and how it helps us and refreshes us to what I like about rereading the charts on the lean and green is, you after a while, when you're on it for a while, you start to slip, and you start to grab things that might be more on that higher carb level or lower in the lean level of food. And this was a great refresher to remind me what my healthy fats are, and the carbs, the vegetables that are more lower in carbs and instead of higher. Also, this chapter basically goes through the 5-in-1, which is the weight loss part. But I really wanted to emphasize on the meal replacements, because they're such a big part of that, of the 5-in-1. And later, once you go into transition, they still are. When you go into like a 3-in-3 situation, meal replacements will always be a part of my life. And what he has created by partnering with Manifest and now Optavia, which is even an awesome line, is the taste and the variety of it that it adds to helping with fatigue. I have my favorites that I love, that I buy every single time, and it keeps me on task to make my
Oh, we lost you again, Debbie. We had, no, it's okay. No, it was perfect. That was perfect. Beautiful summary. I hope you were able to get most of what you wanted to come across. It really sounds like if you're a coach on the call today, whether you're listening to the recording or you're on live, just the power behind the science of what the 5-in-1 is. It's not a magic pill, but it gets dialing in nutrition, portion control, sugar detox, micro and macro nutrition. It makes all of those components that are so important to the science behind our well-being very, very simple, which I think is what Debbie's point was, is she will always use them because it helps her nail nutrition. So what other thoughts do people have to share? I saw Lorraine, you were unmuted, but I didn't know if that meant you had a thought to share.
I do have a thought to share. I know I came on program as a health coach, but what I found using the meal replacements, because if I was going to promote that with my clients, I was going to have to go through the process. I did lose weight, but the thing that I recognized when you use the meal replacements, I was busy. I needed simple. And it was very simple, but boy, the way that my body responded with 100% nutrition and eating every 2 to 3 hours was an incredible thing, because the brain fog went, the energy picked up. I was like the Energizer bunny. I felt good. I mean, I felt great every day that I woke up. I didn't have these real drastic shifts in my energy level or my mental state, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't as fatigued, and my sleep got better, even though, you know, there are things that you can do to help get you ready for sleep at night. And we read that in Dr. A's chapter on sleep. It was that just kind of happened automatically. And I think for our clients, when you go, you know, you start talking about eating 6 meals a day and why it's healthy, that can be extremely overwhelming. So if you can offer a very simple option and immediately they start feeling what it feels like when your body can run off of good nutrition, then it's a no-brainer. You know, they got it. And then the simplicity of it too, you know, makes it easy for even clients that I've had that have time. You know, they could fix 6 meals a day, but who wants to really do that and prep every Sunday? You know, I don't. And the ease of having, you know, if I'm in a busy situation and it's lunchtime, I got my bar with me, and it's like I'd love to fix myself a turkey salad, but I'm not home, so I'm going to eat one of my meal replacements. And knowing that I have that and I'm giving my body good nutrition, you know, the guilt goes away there. I'm not stopping at Taco Bell, gut bomb place, you know. So that's my thought on it.
I think all of us would have a hearty yes, yes, yes to what you just shared, Lorraine. It's so true. I would be curious to hear Carrie or Jeremy or any other parents on here, how maybe learning this concept about nutrition and balancing blood sugars has affected how you read your kids' moods. Has anybody picked up on that? Like when kids are grumpy, oh, maybe their blood sugar's low? Jeremy, you're smiling. Oh, I can't hear you, bro.
They might be a little hangry.
Yeah.
We call it. So they're hungry and they're angry. But yeah, and then another thing that kind of jumped to mind to me in regards to both adults and kids is just the ease of knowing that you're going to be able to eat in 2 to 3 hours makes it a much more manageable scenario to keep you on track. It kind of excuse me, the analogy of, you know, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. Well, how do you get, you know, healthy? One fueling at a time is kind of, you know. But with kids, yeah, and cue the munchkin behind me. It definitely is you think a lot more about, you know, getting them proper fueling, especially with our older son who's involved in a lot of sports. I've learned a lot of stuff that, helps that. And, it's important to keep them fueled because their bodies do break down and in some instances a lot more easily because they're still growing. So.
Well said. I'm taking notes, by the way, as a soon-to-be parent. Carrie, is Carrie still on? Carrie, I'm going to make you come off mute.
No, I'm good.
I think you've got littles.
Yes, I have background noise and no school today. So
It's welcome.
I think one of the things I had fun with when I was on full program with the 5-in-1 is, reading the book and how Dr. A talks about how we're wired to be fueled every 2 to 3 hours. And I was like, that's so not how I was raised, compared to lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And so I did an experiment with the kids where I was intentional with what I fed them, but I fed them when they were hungry and they stopped eating when they were full, and they ate every 2 to 3 hours. And so I was like, oh, imagine that, but it was a neat thing. Cause I thought at first they just wanted to eat because I was, but I let them direct it. And it was pretty clear. And I definitely see low blood sugar, like the glazed look, like you need some protein. And it comes out in behavior too. So I think that's a really good thing for everyone, whether you have kids or not, to be aware of. Is just how your brain functions better when it's fueled well.
That's a good point. Your brain functions better when fueled well. We've got a couple of minutes left. Any other thoughts just about how this has affected since you've started your health journey? Have you seen a difference in how you work, play, relationships, maybe fight less with your spouse because you remembered to have protein? Any other thoughts?
Real quick, I'll jump in there, Linda. One thing for me that I noticed about halfway through the program, I said to Craig, I couldn't believe how I didn't hurt in the morning. Those of us that are a little bit older, you always hear older people, it's just natural, you're kind of achy in the morning. Well, I realized after being on program for several months that I woke up one morning and jumped out of bed and my body wasn't achy. And that was that inflammation that's a little bit slower to show up than, say, the hangry and things like that do. But it's one of the long-term positive consequences of a healthy nutritional intake, because your body starts to respond in other ways than just the immediate blood sugar, which I think is a kickoff to long-term health in everything in general. So it kind of keeps compounding and getting better and better. And if you go in and out, you never get that beneficial program where your brain starts fueling and your body starts feeling amazing. That's it.
Right. As usual, Betsy, right? Awesome. Last minute thoughts. Anything to add, Martin, before we close up this podcast for the week?
I do. I was just kind of thinking and reflecting on what everyone's talking about in this program, how it sets us up for really long-term success, but success in our choices. And one was, like, if we look at the glucose response curve and it's a roller coaster, when we get on a roller coaster, we have this excitement, man. We're going up to the top. That first drop is going to be fun. And then when we get down to the bottom, it's just not as fun anymore. We have to go back to the top and be on this roller coaster of anticipation, excitement, and then a little fear, and then the crash at the bottom, and then going back to the top. But the last part that really, and so it's really learning how to feel ourselves and go from the roller coaster to it's a small world where we're just consistent throughout the day. But if you think of it this way, I guess another thought I have is if whoever likes to run, which I'm not one of them, but if we're going to go run 5 miles, or we want to learn how to run, or do we want to really sprint and feel pretty good sprint and then crash and be gassed? Or do we want to really learn how to pace ourselves and run throughout the day so we can actually be successful through the full day and handle all the obstacles and and things that may get in our way, and deal with them when we're feeling good and we're thinking clearly and we don't have brain fog and we're actually at our best. And that's really kind of the underlying structure of the fueling program is, I want to get up at 6 in the morning and I'm going to be optimum until I go to bed at 10 o'clock. And that's, kind of like the key or the secret that chapter 7 is unlocking for us, is how to really set our body up for that success on a daily basis. Basically daily, weekly, monthly, until someone's throwing dirt on our grave.
Which hopefully isn't for a while.
For a while, yes, a long while.
For all of us, yeah. Well, let's close up this Crave Optimal podcast, but just remember that, you guys, is that you have in your hands the knowledge and the science and the tools to really aid and really serve people in your community, and what a difference it can make. So remember how you felt before you knew this, and how you feel, at least when you do it. I don't always do it, especially as a pregnant person, but thank you, Debbie, for your preparation and sharing. You did great for having your audio feed cut out. You still nailed it.
Oh, thank you.